Bienvenue à Magny-Cours. Welcome to Magny-Cours for the second round of the Lotus Cup Europe.
We are now having a look at the production cars, and those guys had a terrific fight at the Nürburgring, but that was without José Valin, who has now joined the pack and who was the class leader of last year. Guys, what are your expectations for this weekend?
I think it's going to be wet for a start, and we should mix up quite a lot. We're all very close at the Nürburgring. Everyone's cross finish line within a few cars' lengths of each other, and I expect the same is going to happen here.
Excellent. How does Magny-Cours feel with the production car?
Slow compared to the 211s and the other cars out there. I think they're very slow, but bloody good fun.
Cheers, mate. Paul, what about you?
I'm not expecting too much this weekend because it's quite a technical circuit, and they're not very good for me. So straight lines are good, but corners are, so not expecting too much.
Okay. What about you, José? You're the local driver.
Si tu me demandes en français, ce sera plus facile.
Alors vas-y en français.
Tu me demandes quoi?
Vas-y, ça se passe bien?
Ça passe très bien, c'est mon retour en France et voilà, on remet ça dans la Lotus Cup en espérant faire aussi bien que l'année dernière.
So you're back for your first race of the season and you're hoping to enjoy your race here and being as successful as last year. Short translation. Cheers, mate. What do you expect from the race?
Just having fun like on Nürburgring with the chaps from the UK, so that was really a tough fight. And yeah, maybe it will start to rain, so that would be good for me because we're less power on the car. So yeah, Magny-Cours, really great track to drive.
Many thanks, enjoy the race. Christoph, it's your first race with Lotus Cup Europe. You've just joined the pack with an open class car. What is your initial impression about Lotus Cup Europe?
Yes, hello. It's for me the first race in Lotus Cup Europe. The spirit in Lotus Cup with other persons is very good. For me, my car is a Lotus Elise S1 in open. I hope the weather is good for this weekend because the setup this morning for the car is bad, and I prefer a good weather for do a good race.
Sadly, the good weather wasn't to be found for the start of race one, which got underway in damp and drizzly conditions. Jonathan Walker it was who took pole position from Christophe Legendre, Philippe Loup and Thierry Vierhuist in the Evora for the rolling start, and away they went with Jonathan Walker sprinting into the early leads. The enormous pack surged away. Walker was through turn one, the rest of the field yet to make it to the start line in the early stages. Walker trying to jump into the advantage from Jean-Baptiste Meusnier, Christophe Legendre and the rest of them. But it was Meusnier in the early stage of the race though who came through and took the lead, really finding the damp conditions to his liking in the Exige, although Jonathan Walker in the 211 was on his tail throughout and eventually was able to move up into the lead, where he was joined by John Rass. Further back there was action and plenty to be found. Dennis van den Sarvel, one of many who had a lively race, as did Nicolas Ferrer and also Nicholas Walker, the brother of the race leader Jonathan. So as the Evora scrabbled for grip, the rest of the field jostled for position on a circuit was getting progressively damper as the race continued. Nathalie Genou-Crachet continuing to get her experience as the race being won by Jonathan Walker just from John Rass. Across the line there we saw Christophe Legendre pipping Jean-Baptiste Meusnier on the line for third position. So to take a look at the full results, it was the win for John Walker from John Rass, Christophe Legendre and Jean-Baptiste Meusnier, with Xavier Georges rounding out the top five. Jeremy Lorenko, an excellent sixth from Guillaume Bouche, Laurent Fevre in the production class, but that was won by Matt Bartlett, well up inside the top 20 from Marcus Nikovic, and Jose Vasselin rounding out the production podium. Nigel Ayres, a solid top 20 finish for him as well. Nathalie Genou-Crachet did make it through to the end of the race, having held off the challenge from Stefan Vermeesch, with a disappointing run for Philippe Loup, and Sven Pettersson rounding out the finishers. Well, the sun finally peeking through as the driving dots to celebrate on the podium.
John, terrific race. You ended up in the front line, but it was basically very hard. What happened?
Well, not a lot of grip out there. As the race went on, the lap times were coming down, you know, half a second a lap, and that just came to my car. So by about mid-race, I was recovering the deficit that I had, and the race was just long enough for me to get past John last lap, which I'm very pleased about.
You started 11th and made it to the front, and you were leading the pack for a long time. So what happened there?
It was the real great condition for me with the slippery track, and overtook a lot of car in the first lap. And then I fight a little bit with Jean-Baptiste Meunier, and then I was in front for many parts of the race, and then when I had to overtake the slower cars, John Walker came back and overtook me, and it was the last lap. So okay, I'm happy with the result, but it's the race.
Matt, you're the winner in production class, and you had a big fight with Markus Nikovic. How was it?
Yeah, it was a good race. I mean, I had a great start. Marcus was a few places ahead of me, but managed to get onto the back of him right at the start. And then he was quick. I spent a good 10 laps behind him out of the 12 or 13 laps. And then had to really pick my moment. So waited until what I thought was the last lap and dived up the inside on the last hairpin. It turned out to be the penultimate lap in the end, but managed to keep him behind me for the rest of it. So no, it was great fun. Good race.
So will the fight go on in race 2?
Yeah, I hope so. It's going to be more difficult off a standing start, particularly if it's drier, to get up on the back of him, but that's what I'm looking for, trying to get up with him right off the start and see whether I can get in front of him this time as well.
Fighting words there from Matt Bartlett. Race 2 got underway in dry conditions, but it was another good start from Jonathan Walker. He streaked into the immediate lead from Christophe Legendre as the field surged away on towards turn 1. Markus Nikovic making a good start, checking both mirrors en route towards turn 1. Enter stage left, Nigel Ayres, and then some superb driving from Nikovic as he just found a lane, went along it and was able to gain several places in towards turn 2. Meanwhile, at the head of the field, Jonathan Walker still led the way from Christophe Legendre, and then the fighting of auras of Thierry Verheest and Gregory Rass. Rass was to show very strongly as the race progressed, eventually taking the runners-up spot, having worked his way through what, as you can see, was a very frantic dice for those podium positions. So Walker, having taken lead in the early stages, he was not to be headed. Christophe Legendre, as the race progressed, slipped down to third behind Gregory Rass. And we had great racing in all classes, with plenty of entertainment to be found in the production class as well. Pretty much everybody in this huge field finding somebody to dice with. As you can see, Nigel Ayres engaged in battle with one of the 211s for much of what was a very exciting race from the Lotus Cup Europe. So John Walker did come through to take the victory from Gregory Rass and Christophe Legendre. Thierry Verheest then in 4th place from Xavier Georges, Philippe Luc, Jeremy Lourenco, Jean-Pierre Genou-Praché in 8th position. Good finish for Laurent Febvre. He took 11th from Carl Vivian. Nick Walker, much better race 2 for him, well up inside the top 20. We'll be pleased with that finish. Production class honours went to Nigel Ayres from Matt Bartlett and Jose Vanzlan, with Christophe Cailly taking open class honours, and Nathalie Genou-Praché once more getting another well-deserved finish. After a hard weekend's racing, it was time to celebrate on the podium for the class winners, deservedly receiving a very, very warm round of applause from the Lotus Cup Europe community following what was a great weekend's racing at Magny-Cours.
That was it for the second round in Magny-Cours. We'll see each other again in Hockenheim for the third round.
Meanwhile, back at Brands Hatch, Hayley caught up with a couple of racing legends.
Hi, we're here with Martin Donnelly and Damon Hill. Martin, not only racing for Lotus this weekend, you're out with the Scirocco Cup.
That's right.
You're out with your old teammates. You're looking forward to it?
I'm out here with the old gang, the old what we call Rat Pack. Obviously racing on behalf of James charity Harlow and Halo, sorry I should say. And you know, we're pushing that forward. As was all here for. David's been good enough to come back out of his second retirement to come out and face the kindergarten and us old codgers. And we're here just basically to have a good time, promote the charity. And at the end of the day, we can still have by each other beer afterwards, then it's all been worthwhile, hasn't it?
Great. And Damon, can you tell us a bit about your charity?
Right, it's called Halo and it's based in Guildford, but it provides activities to nurture independence for young people with learning difficulties.
Great, so you're here for a good cause.
It's a very good cause, and Volkswagen have been very kind and generous and helped out with Halo, and all my mates have also joined in, so we've got a good gang of guys we used to race with when we were younger, just like the young guys in the other half of the championship. So I'm afraid we're gonna have to fight for everything we can get.
Great, and have good fun this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's it from us this time. Next time on Lotus on Track, we're bringing you all the action from the Elise Trophy at Brands Hatch. We've also got highlights from the Elise Trophy and the Lotus Cup UK at Castle Combe.